Welcome to my Blade 350 QX2 review. Just going to open the box in a second. This is the ready to fly version with the transmitter already bound to it. It has the safe mode, which you have to stand approximately 15 feet away before the the helicopter will start. Smart mode, we've got altitude hold, stability mode, return to home, which is vital to my mind, especially if you're flying as it's getting towards dark. And this has got the GPS and the altimeter on it as well. You've also got the AP mode, aerial photography mode. So let's have a look and see what I've got inside the box. Okay, well, right on the top here we've got our instructions, so I'll set those aside for the minute. And we've got some copper plates here, which I'm guessing, speaking from the man in the shop, is the shielding for the GoPro camera, to make sure that if you fit one of those, it doesn't interfere with any of the GPS or the important control bits on the quadcopter. So let's have a look inside. Okay, here we go. So, there she is in all her glory. We've got, looks like the charger there, and lithium polymer battery. This is the newer version with the 3000 milliamp battery, which gives slightly longer life. So the guy in the shop tells me by a couple of minutes. Something else here, charger related, I guess. I'll look at how that's a UK adapter, even though we're in the US. This looks like the cage for the GoPro camera. I actually use a Nabi HD square video camera instead of a GoPro one, which is the same size, which you can find in one of my other videos. I'll put a link to that at the end though. And here is the quadcopter itself. Oh, we've got something else there. Okay, this looks like all of the gimbal, or the camera fixing rather, which I'd guess, yeah, goes on just underneath there. Little work to do for later on. Okay, notice the blade is actually turning the whole of the top of the motor there. It's not just the blade turning on its own. Looks like we got the battery compartment here. Yep, here we go. Connections, etc., etc. So, pretty good, pretty lightweight. I'm guessing even with the weight of the battery there's not going to be a whole host of issues there. Okay, transmitter. One of the reasons why I went for the Blade 350 QX2 version is on this transmitter. You will note the absence of any trim controls. On the older version you used to have to manually set the trim prior to getting started, and the thought of that I felt was, well, not beyond me, but more complicated than need be if you could buy one that didn't need the trim controls adjusting. So that's why I went for this version of the Blade, the QX2 version of the Blade 350. Okay, we got our charger here, and there's our trusty US power cord, and we've got a spare set of blades there, which I'm just going to leave in the box at the minute. Okay, so there's everything that you get with your Blade 350 QX2. Now unfortunately I'm not going to be able to fly today, as we have rather a lot of snow outside, and it's something like -20 at the minute, so not going anywhere today, but as soon as I can I'm going to do a flight review. Noting on the charger straight away is that despite the battery having the big fat connector on here, it looks like it actually charges through the lower the lower current balancing port. So I'll have to look into what fast charger options there are available for it, but that's certainly something to consider there, because that's going to take a while just charging through this little white connector here down on there. The camera attachment looks fairly straightforward at first glance. Radio on here for you, just for on the return to home function. Very simple. You don't have to hold a button down on this version either, which is another feature that I liked. If you've lost sight of the thing, you just flick this switch and that's it. It returns to home. You don't have to hold it down for so many seconds. You just flick it down, set it, forget it, and all being well, it comes back to you. I believe the key issue is checking out the various lights which are integrated in the various vents around it, which tell you which direction it's flying in, and it's those self-same lights that tell you whether it's got the GPS lock, which is obviously vital if you want to be using the return to home function, as without that it's not going to know where it's coming back to. Okay, just a power cord there and instruction manual, and as I figured, these are for actually putting around the GoPro camera to shield the requirements. So off to look at the instruction manual. Well, I hope you found that basic review of the Blade 350 QX2. I hope that gives you some insight into what you're getting for your money. The key features, like I say, with this are the GPS. It's got the altimeter, so for aerial photography, it will just, you can get it so it'll just hover at the altitude that you want, and then in the exact position that you want in terms of horizontal settings. So you can then just gradually pan around and take some nice photos, hopefully, which I'm looking forward to doing as the weather gets better. Well, thanks for listening to my Blade 350 QX2 review. And please give the video the thumbs up if you like it, and by all means subscribe, as I should have a few more toys coming this summer.